Hello there, this is Oscar Mikey and welcome back to this Europa Universalis for Granada Re-Reconquista Ironman achievement run. So, we are just off the back of having successfully beaten up the Portuguese, the Castilians and the Aragonese. So I think now we're more or less entering into possibly the first and only sort of Pax Granada period where hopefully our economy is doing reasonably strong. We're rapidly catching up in terms of a technology rate. So if we have a bit of peace now, and I'm just going through my estates interaction, ensuring that I get all my additional monarch power from the interactions. So yeah, if we just have a little bit of peace, that's all I really need to sort of recuperate and prepare myself for the inevitable invasion of the Iberian Peninsula, which is coming up pretty shortly. But for now, I'm looking forward to a bit of downtime, just tying up a few loose ends, and then eventually moving forward. So we will go ahead and get that 100 diplomatic monarch power. And the administrative military power won't be opened up to us for another few years. So we'll keep an eye on that. Our first idea was, of course, maritime ideas. Pretty happy with that choice overall. It's a very strong early idea group. Great for Muslim factions in particular, if you like that galley spam. Now, as for our second idea group, I am more or less inclined towards going for what is undoubtedly one of the most powerful idea groups in the game. That is, of course, the humanist idea group. Give us that all-important reduced revolt risk. Give us reduced costs and all subsequent ideas. Just a great idea group all around. Just having a read here. Economic's good as well. Economic has a decision that allows you to form a national bank, which increases your loan rate and for the most part reduces overall inflation. It also has a policy that gives your artillery 15% improved combat power, which is great, but between economic and humanist, I pretty much decided I'm going to go with humanist. Just the accepted culture, the lower years separatism, religious unity, yeah, that is what we will take. And we have enough monarch power to invest in the first idea, which is reduced religious unity, which is not very important at the moment, but it may be important. It will be important later on when we start taking over Catholic territory. Yeah, shortly we may actually start producing enough income to consider creating a few buildings. That would be pretty nice. We haven't done that yet. Not quite there yet, although we are earning a heck of a lot of money. Now, Mamluks is at war. I will go ahead and fabricate a few claims in the Mamluks. We have the mission actually to conquer Gadams, which is bordering us off the Mamluks. So if they're in peril, then we will certainly take that opportunity. That's one more loan gone, two more left in total. We are going to have to keep an eye on these revolts. Portuguese separatists could threaten us, so that's something to take into consideration. Don't want to have to deal with any separatists in those newly conquered provinces. And there's Castilian Brazil. We have not opted for the colonization game, as I've said several times. Reason being, it's too big an investment early on, and the payoff is only... payoff takes kind of a long time. Nation of Ottoman's favour. Requesting come to aid in the Ottoman conquest of Damascus against the Mamluks. Okay. Well, so much for the Pax Granada, the period of peace I was talking about at the start of this episode. We are going to be flung into a war because I need to accrue favours with the Ottomans. That would be very handy. I also don't want to sever my alliance with them. Plus, we have the potential to take some territory off the Mamluks if the Ottomans give us that. So we will accept the call to arms, move my forces to east, and accept. Tunis is going to join us. So if they occupy Gerams, that's actually going to be a bit of a pain, because if they occupy that fortification, we are not going to be able to get any territory from the Mamluks as part of the peace concessions. Damn it! Well, maybe Tunis will, who knows. That's a problem, but we still have to fight this war regardless, because we need to be on good terms with the Ottomans. Especially when we start really doing work against the Iberian factions. That usually has the effect of triggering the French to join in. Yeah, we're going to take this slowly. I'm not going to race ahead and see if I can occupy a lot of Tunis's provinces, because knowing the Mamluks, they usually like to avoid early battles with the Ottomans. They sort of preserve their forces, which means they're more than likely to move their forces to the west to take on my troops, and I don't want to lose any manpower on behalf of the Ottomans. So just a slow, meticulous, sort of methodical advance through Libya, and if we do that, we don't risk our troops, don't have to suffer any significant losses. And by slow, I mean very slow. We'll keep our troops parked there until Tunis has the fortifications and Gerams down. So we have a few cores constructed. Question is, do I want to start sending out missionaries, given the fact that there is quite a lot of unrest in these provinces? With that said, if we do get him converted, that unrest is going to plummet. So we'll go ahead and do that. Yeah, here comes sort of a stream of Mamluk forces. Aragon tells of a civil war. Now that's interesting. We do have a lower truce time with Aragon, if you remember from the last episode, so we may be able to take advantage of that. Yeah, that's quite low unrest. I wasn't expecting so low unrest, so that's good news for us. Unhappiness amongst the clergy, whatever. Saving up my military monarch power to make sure I get the max bonus modifiers, whatever the heck you want to call them, the max dispensation, so that we save as much military monarch power as possible. Yeah, so we won't be able to get any territory because Tunis has occupied Gerams. Shame, but that's the way it goes. I don't like the look of this. Streaming in forces here to the west. I'm going to let Tunis deal with that, to be honest. I will probably help with the Ottomans occupy down all Mamluk's fortifications, because I kind of want to get a move on here and get this, you know, get this war over and done with as soon as possible, because it doesn't particularly interest me and probably doesn't interest you much either. There they go. Mamluks are fighting the Ethiopians. They should be able to clean that battle up relatively easily. Ottomans have become quite powerful, so very important that I keep on their good terms, which I will presently aspire to do so. Okay, so we'll help the Ottomans with the blockade since they don't seem competent enough to do it themselves. Yep, the Mamluks do have about 18,000 troops in the capital. I will keep Wales away of that. Just slow and steady, methodical advance here across the western desert. Another civil war. Wow, those Portuguese separatists, look at that. They've gone from 30% to 80% in as many months. So let's get our new military tech level and ensure that we have the best cannons. Want to do that now, get it over and done with since we're reaching the monarch power cap. So we can cancel the missionary. That will reduce the chance of the Portuguese separatists rising by a ton, absolute ton. So that's our unrest down to 1.1. And if we spend some administrative monarch power in the second humanist idea group that reduces your national unrest by -2, that I believe will reduce our overall unrest to 0. And Portuguese separatists, it's nice knowing you, but you are going to be declining. Yes, you are. Okay, so that's taken care of. No separatists rising up in islands, which is one of the things I really hate having to deal with, especially since their military tech level's probably a heck of a lot. Actually, no, we're on parity now that I upgraded, come to think of it. But they do have better units, I should say, because they have the Western tech group. We just have the westernized Muslim tech group, which is not as good. $6.14 ducats of war reparations every month. Not too bad. Ottomans have marshalled up 44,000 troops in the Egyptian capital. And it looks like they're going to send even more because, you know, attrition. But I do believe that provinces have very high supply limits. They might not actually be suffering that high attrition. Occupy these provinces. It's probably the least exciting war I fought in a long time, actually. Bit of a change of pace. There we go. Granada occupied. Send missionary. So now that the revolts have reduced in their percentages, we can actually go ahead and send those missionaries out once again. Fun, fun. Good news is, after this, we will be the masters of our own fate. And I suspect that we'll be strong enough where any subsequent wars are going to be very much declared by us. And the next war I've already decided is going to be taking down Castile. Almost got 100% occupation here. They do have one more fortification in the south, which we should easily be able to assail. Naval battle 1, that's always good to know. The Ottomans are doing most of the work for us. Golden Horde internal conflicts. My goodness, that's 3 civil wars and 1 internal conflicts in about 2 years. Piety. Do we want additional piety? Yeah, probably. Okay, so... the Mamluks still do have a fleet and they were able to destroy 5 of my transport ships. Damn it. We're going to have to hunt that down and make sure it doesn't damage our trade ships. That's about 800 ducats worth of trade ships. Must protect them at all costs. So yeah, there go the separatists. Now we can go ahead and send out our missionaries. Do that over again. I'm looking for a better administrative advisor. Yeah. National tax modifier is fine, but there are better ones. Let's group up this fleet. Go ahead and take down this Mamluk navy. Really, the Ottomans should be doing this for us, but They're not exactly being compliant here, so that's who I really want. A yearly inflation reduction advisor. Worth its weight in gold and monarch power easily. And look at all that inflation. So we're at 15.65%. I'm not sure if we're across the threshold where we're at risk of currency destabilized. But we gotta be close. So gonna keep an eye on that inflation. I'm gonna have that inflation advisor slowly whittling it down. Now, I know for a fact the Ottomans will be suffering egregious attrition in that province, but they have pretty much endless manpower, so... And our power projection has dropped below 50. Agricultural revolution. Base tax is always my preferred choice, but let's see if they've got a really good trade good. No, it's just grain, so base tax it is. Yeah, so we should get some bonus power projection for fighting this war with the Ottomans. Because I believe we get 25 if we're fighting... Let's see, Mamluks are one of our rivals, so we've got that going for us, so we're assisting an ally in beating up a rival. I think that gives us 25 power projection. 25 or 10. 25 seems a bit much, but either way we're bound to get a lot, and that pushes us back over 50. Get us that all-important 3 extra monarch power per month. Yeah, this war is going to be over pretty quick. Send over my fleet, see if we can deal with these Egyptian ships. Ulema is losing power. Okay. There we go. Quorum. See if we can muster up some reinforcements. Don't particularly feel like losing many ships. Although, not so concerned about losing galleys and cogs. They are in abundant supply. Yep, we finish that fleet off. And that's basically the war done. Don't really have to check. I'm just improving my relations with the Ottomans and Tunis. Tunis took out, actually conquered Malta. I wonder when that happened. Didn't really notice that. That must have happened recently. Good for them. That's interesting because if they have Malta, they're going to be able to fabricate claims in Sicily. So they may actually threaten Aragon going down in the future. Have to keep an eye on that. Holy Roman Empire. Austria is not the emperor. So they're not doing too well. Mothball my fortifications. Should have done that at the outset of the war, actually. Save us a bit of money. Ethiopia is blah blah blah, something something. Can we get 100% occupation? Yeah, Austria's actually doing phenomenally well. It's interesting. They're doing so well, yet they're not the empire. They must have had a regency council or something. Although that should be pretty rare as Austria. Yeah, 5% attrition. 65,000 troops occupying one solitary province. Power projection shut up because we sent our trade ships privateering once more. Look at all that development in that gold producing province. Traders died. That's a little unfortunate. We do have a replacement. We'll go ahead and hire him straight away. One more loan to repay. Want to get that paid off and start. Okay, Mamluks will see Ghazal, Quds, Korak, Aljoun, Damash, Tabla, blah blah blah. Will we get anything? No, but Granada will gain 25 power projection. There you go. Mamluks will lose 50 power projection. Okay, that's interesting. They lose 50 power projection. That must mean that the Ottomans went for the humiliation option against Mamluks. I think. Either that or they... Do you lose power projection from losing territory in a war against your rival? I can't even remember. They either got humiliated or they lost territory. One or the other, I'm not actually quite sure. We have a bunch of favours with the Ottomans now, almost 50. That's easily enough. So they will be joining us in our subsequent war with Castile. Good to know. That's pretty much got all our bases covered then. So we're very much ready for this next war. Unrest is low. That's always good to see. Yeah, Ottomans are doing very well. Ottomans, Austria, France also have to keep an eye on them. Ottomans can be... So I've just got another idea group. Want to max that out before I start investing in technology. So Ottomans are going to be a potential rival later on. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Usually I tend to find that something conspires against us where we have to actually sever alliance with them. But that's not too much of a concern now. There'll be a good bulwark against the Western European factions for the time being. We are still gaining inflation now because of all that gold. No matter, economic ideas sure are looking appealing at the moment, but Portugal's losing a war. That's interesting. I have to keep an eye on that also. Although they're still allied. Yeah, let's get rid of that mission Conquer Cadams. We're not going to get that completed at least for a few hundred years. So see if we can get a better mission here. Army force limit's still only 24. That's as a result of high autonomy and things like that. So we'll stop fabricating claims in Castile. Probably should have done this a lot earlier, since I've already decided our next war is going to be very much aimed at their direction. Ship cost. Do we need it for anything else? Not particularly. Comet sighted. Oh, Comet. Ye work of the devil. Is that our first comet? Can't quite recall. Let's see. So I'm going to go... So there's a really good reason why I'm investing so much diplomatic monarch power into idea groups as opposed to technology. And the reason for that is pretty simple. Every time you pick out a single idea group as part of an idea train, you reduce the technology cost of all subsequent technology in that group by 2%. So if you max out 7 ideas, that's 40% reduction in technology cost, which is why you should always, if given a choice between progressing in an idea group or progressing in technology, always go for the idea group, with one exception: military. Military idea groups aren't such a good idea early on because you need that. You don't want to lose a military technology lead, especially against powerful AI opponents. That's just something to take into consideration. Just taking a look to see what buildings we can invest in. Get those claims fabricated. So we still have a truce with Castile. Sevilla's going to be my main target. Obviously, retaking Granada, Almira and Gibraltar would be great, but Sevilla's the one to go for. Sevilla's got a ton of bonus trade power. If we capture that, we're really going to start putting some pressure in the Strait of Gibraltar trade node. As for buildings, well, we'll see what buildings are profitable for us. Alright folks, I think I'm going to go ahead and put a cut in here. Thanks for watching as always, I'll see you shortly.